Hi, boys and girls. How are you? Guess what? It's Tadpole Tuesday. So we're going to get an update on our tadpoles. This weekend, did you get a Ziploc bag full of some surprises for me? I was hoping you did. Guess what? Inside of that bag, you had a frog or a couple frogs. And you know what you do with these frogs? You can turn them into a contest with one of your people in your family. You can each take turns. It's so much fun to take turns. But I can get out a ruler, and Mrs. Nelson was going to lay a piece of tape down here and then measure to see how far I can get my frog to jump. So if you take this frog and you push down really light on here, he kind of slides. But sometimes you can even get him to hop. Whoa, he hopped all the way over there. So you can have races to see how far your frog can hop. Ooh, that frog hopped 8 inches. So you can take turns and play with your family to see how far you can get your frogs to hop. It can be a great math game. Also in your packet was a little book, except this book didn't have any words in it. Last week, when I recorded a video, I talked to you about drawing a picture of a bee. And then I talked to you about how you could make your own little book. Well, I made some little books for you. So you can write in the little books, like, I can see a frog, or a frog is green, or anything you want to write about. I saw one of our friends saw some crayfish this weekend. They could even write about crayfish. Your sky is the limit. You are all authors and you can write anything you want. So that's why I included this little book. I also included a smelly marker because I love smelly markers. Mine smells like cherries. What does yours smell like? And then inside of here, I just want to show you this first page first. It talks about the life cycle of a frog. So with the life cycle of a frog, I have to put my finger in the thumb hole and my fingers at the bottom and go chomp, chomp, chomp. So I'm going to chomp off these lines at the bottom. And we're going to figure this out together because this is talking about the life cycle of a frog. But I'm not done cutting yet. I have to cut this off as well, the pictures, and then I have to cut off the words because the words and the pictures don't match. And we get to label them. Kind of like when Mrs. Nelson was drawing her pictures and she got to label them. This time, you get to label the pictures that are already drawn. So, I'm cutting the pictures out, and then I'm cutting the words out. Now, I am going to write my name on the top of the paper, and seeing I have my smelling marker, I'm going to write my name with the smelling marker. So I'm going to write Mrs. Nelson, because we always write our name on our paper so everyone knows whose paper it is. All right, boys and girls, when we talk about life cycle, we talk about we have to follow the arrows and go around because that means it repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats. So the first thing that happens with frogs is they lay eggs. So I'm going to glue the picture of the eggs down. After the eggs, I'm going to follow the arrow and they become what we have in here, tadpoles. And the tadpoles look kind of like a fish, right? But they are not a fish. So I'm going to glue down the tadpoles. After the tadpoles, that's when their tails start to shrink and their back feet and front feet start to grow. Now this is called a froglet. So I'm going to glue my froglet next. And then after that, it becomes a real frog, just like the picture you drew. Now, I get to label the picture. I don't have to write the words, though. I get to label them with the words that are already written for me. So, There's a couple things I know. I can look at the beginning of the word to figure out some of the words there. So look at this one. T. Ooh, what do you think that one starts with? Does that egg start with t? Nope. This is a what? A tadpole. Hey, does tadpole start with t? Yeah. Does froglet start with f or t? Nope. And frog doesn't. So guess what? This word is tadpole. So I'm going to glue tadpole there. All right. Now, this word right here, it starts with an E. E says or eggs. Eggs. Ooh, which one are the eggs? I know that this one doesn't start with and this one doesn't start with So this one must be the eggs. And that's what comes first, are the tadpole eggs. All right. Now this is tricky because this one has both of the same words in it. Here's frog, which we wrote the other day, and this says let, froglet. This one has the word frog, but there's a word in front of it. That says adult frog. So I had to decide which one's the froglet and which one's the adult frog. Do you remember how we know? You're right. A froglet just got its front and back legs and its tail starting to shrink. And then it becomes an adult frog. So I'm going to stick adult frog under the adult frog. And then guess what? The adult frog lays eggs. The eggs turn to tadpoles. The tadpoles turn to froglets. The froglets turn into adult frogs. And it keeps going. The adult frog lays eggs. The eggs lay tadpoles. The tadpoles lay the tadpoles turn to froglets and then adult frogs. It's called a cycle. It keeps on going and going. So that is the life cycle of a frog. You could also write about that in your little book. And don't forget to have fun with these little frogs. The rest of the papers I'm going to come back to. I'm going to read you the story about frogs. Now, the title of our book is Frogs. So here is the title of the book. Hey ho, we all know the title is the name. Then, this is a nonfiction story, it looks to me like, because there are real pictures of frogs in it. So let's read it. Frogs. Frogs. Frogs lay eggs. Yep, we found that out, didn't we? Frogs lay eggs. In the eggs are tadpoles. Would you believe the tadpoles Mrs. Nelson has been showing you started out like this? Wow, they really grew. Tadpoles change and grow, change and grow. Change and grow. Check it out. So this is the tadpole. This is what we saw last week. His back legs were just starting to come. And now on this picture, his back legs are really out. I can't wait to check out ours. Into frogs. Frogs change and grow. So look at this one, his tail is still shrinking. And this one, he has no tail left. Change and grow. Look at these frogs are kind of little and then they grow up to be bigger. And lay eggs. So this is like we talked about, the life cycle. The eggs, tadpole, froglet, and adult frogs. So this talks about the frog who lays the eggs, who come out to be tadpoles. Then they grow into a froglet and become an adult frog. All right, let's check out these tadpoles, and then I have something to share with you about butterflies. So here's our tadpoles, and we're gonna find them today. Excuse me. All right, I'm gonna take off cover and I'm going to take out our log. All right, do you see them underneath? Do you see them swimming away? Ooh, I see one. Oh, I see them both. All right, I'm going to jump in here. Come here, Mr. Tadpole. Come here, Mr. Tadpole. Oops. Come here. My friends want to see you. Yeah. Boys and girls, look at how big his back legs are. Do you see them? How big his back legs are starting to form? Yeah, do you see them? They're even kind of standing there on the side. I see them. Right there they are. Right there. I do not see where his front legs are starting to form yet. Oops. But they're starting to get little bulges on the side. I can't wait to show you the next time we check on Tadpole Tuesday. Go back and swim, little fellow. All right, let's find the other one. Oops, he just slipped away. Mr. Nelson and Addie had to go get some more pond water because the dirtier the pond water, the more that they get to eat and grow. Oh, let's see. Let me see you, little guy. I got him by the, right here. Right over here. Oops. Did you see him? Okay, come here, Mr. Tadpole. All right, boys and girls. Look at his eyes are starting to pop out. Do you see his eyes starting to pop out? If you look in the back here, there's his little leg. Do you see his little leg? There's both his little legs. And can you believe that his tail is going to shrink, shrink, shrink and become a frog? That's pretty interesting, isn't it? Did you see him? So now both of our tadpoles have back legs. Yeah, and one of my friends also found tadpoles in her pond. I'm wondering if she'll share some with us. We'll have to ask her. All right, hold that thought. I'm going to pause, go wash my yucky hands, and then come back and talk to you about some butterflies. Are you ready? See you in a minute.